For Delaware State of the Arts, I'm Andy Truscott. My guest today is John Riddle. John has been working as a full-time freelance writer, author, and ghostwriter from his home office in Delaware since 1996, all while delighting in the title of Donut Eater. In 2002, he founded the grassroots writing campaign I Love to Write Day, held every November 15th, to encourage people of all ages to spend time creating written work and exploring their voice. He has authored dozens of books and contributed to hundreds of websites, building a long-standing creative career anchored in both craft and community. Today, we'll talk with John about the upcoming I Love to Write Day on Saturday, November 15th. John, as we kick off, tell me a little bit about how you founded I Love to Write Day back in 2002. And what was that light bulb moment that made you decide November 15th ought to be I Love to Write Day?
Well, it was actually in mid-May of 2002. I was driving from Delaware to Asheville, North Carolina. I was scheduled to speak at the Blue Ridge Mountain Christian Writers Conference, teaching a few workshops. My daughter Bonnie, who was a college student at the University of Delaware at the time, and also a published writer with a couple local articles, was with me because she knew the value of taking workshops from not only me, but from other faculty members. So it's about a 10-hour drive. So we just got outside of Richmond, and there's a little diner. I said, let's break for lunch. And what was on my mind was after the conference, I was going to be interviewed by Writer's Digest magazine for all the success I'd had in selling the ebook long before Amazon ever had ebooks available. So I knew that, well, I probably needed a website, but johnriddle.com sounded boring. Plus, it was a real estate agent in Iowa that had it. And I thought, well, I needed something exciting. So I thought, well, I'd love to write. And before I became a full-time writer, I worked as a development director for a few local nonprofits and tried to set the Guinness Book of World Records by having the largest group of people dance and twist as a fundraiser. We even got Chubby Checker involved to do some public service announcements. So I thought, well, I love to write and I love parties. And I thought, I love to write day. So I grabbed a napkin and I wrote the words, I love to write day. And I still don't know why. I just picked out of the blue, November 15th. I said, the middle of the month, that I told Bonnie, remember this day because this is the beginning of I Love to Write Day. And ever since then, November 15th has been celebrated all around the world, mostly in the United States. There's a campaign to have it in the UK, Spain, and Australia. We'll talk about that a little bit.
Before the holiday existed, talk to us about what your own writing journey was like, what brought you into the craft of writing and to founding this international observance.
Well, I had always, even in high school, I had always wanted to be a writer. In fact, I had written an episode of the Flying Nun TV show, showed it to my English teacher, and he wasn't very supportive. He said it was the worst piece of writing he'd ever seen, and I should rethink my career path. But I didn't let that deter me. After high school, I joined the Navy and discovered Writer's Digest magazine, in which there was a magazine that told you how to get published. Unfortunately, it took me 3 years of collecting rejection slips before I first saw my first article in the local newspaper. And at the end of the article, it said, John Riddle is a freelance writer. I had arrived. And it didn't matter if I was writing books, articles, greeting cards, ad copy on the back of cereal boxes. To me, writing, while it may be an assignment and maybe a way to make money, it's always joy and it's always fun for me.
You mentioned that while driving to the conference, you announced the day to your daughter. How much of that origin story was spontaneous versus planned as you were having that kind of moment together?
Well, I guess I said I knew the interview with Writer's Digest magazine was on my mind a week after the conference. So that was in the planning. But honestly, just having when I started thinking about the largest group of people dancing the twist and parties and writers, we all love to party. I would say that was spontaneous, and that's grab that napkin and I Love to Write Day written on it.
What were some of your early challenges you faced when launching a day like this? Was it getting schools and libraries engaged, or was it just kind of spreading awareness?
It was a combination of both because again, my website, it was just a basic website. And I just started emailing schools, bookstores, libraries, writing groups, media people. If I saw your email address online, you probably got an invite to uh, participate in I Love to Write Day. I was fortunate enough on the first I Love to Write Day, USA Today did a feature about us. And that that actually put us on the map because I literally lost track of how many emails and messages I got after that because people said, I read about USA Today. And ever since then, each year we've been building on the success. So it was a little slow going out, but very thankful that USA Today said, hey, we can put you on the map.
The goal sounds pretty simple, right? To encourage people of all ages to write something, be it a poem, a letter, an essay, a novel. How has that goal evolved over the years?
Well, that goal has stayed the same because it doesn't matter if I'm speaking at a school, a bookstore, a library with a writing group, doing a lot of Zoom workshops and presentations about writing. I just tell people just find something that you're interested in, whether it's a poem, if you want to write greeting cards, if you want to write an essay, start that novel, finish that novel. And over the years, that's been just the same bit of advice that seems to work for everybody.
Why do you believe that writing is so important in today's world, especially for non writers or just everyday folks?
Well, there's a few reasons why writing is important. Number one, writing helps develop critical thinking skills. Thinking before writing is essential for crafting quality pieces of writing. It forces you to consider details, analyze information, and make connections between different pieces of data. Writing can also open up new opportunities. Being able to write well can lead to some exciting opportunities like getting your work published or even landing a job in the publishing industry. Writing can also be used to inspire others and make a difference in the world around you. And finally, writing is good for your mental health. Research has shown that writing can help reduce stress and improve overall well-being. It's a great way to express yourself and get your thoughts down on paper, and plus, it's fun.
Could you share with us one or two stories of participants of any age or any experience that really touched you or made you realize kind of the widespread significance of I Love to Write Day?
Yes, it was. I think it was the third or fourth year that there was a group of students at the St. Mary Magdalene Regional School in Millville decided to write a letter to the governor at that time and ask the governor to declare November 15th as I Love to Write Day in the Garden State. The governor was touched and he sent his representative out to the school with a proclamation, and the kids were all excited. And so much so that even the Cumberland Mall decided to hold a special I Love to Write Day celebration that year, not only in the bookstore, but different stores and everything. And it's just amazing that over the years that things have evolved. And then I think it was the second I Love to Write Day. There was a group of students from the Hilton Head Senior High School in South Carolina. They went to a local retirement community to encourage the residents to start writing their life stories. And it was supposed to be a one-time thing. The students had a great time, the residents had a great time, and for the next 6 weeks, students continued to go. And some of the residents were so excited they even published a few of their memoirs. And then finally, I got an email from a teacher this past I Love to Write Day. She said her daughter, when she was in first grade, celebrated I Love to Write Day faithfully every year. A few months after last year, she published her first novel, and her second novel is coming out in 2026. So that was an example of a kid who really said, you know what, I love to write, and I'm going to do this every year, and look what happened.
That's really so awesome to hear, especially as you hear someone that's participated year over year and now you hear them making it in the professional world. So as we think about what it takes to put on an event like this, not only for you, but say for those that are doing it at their local school or library, what do you gauge to be are some of the most effective ways that people can celebrate I Love to Write Day in their own community?
Well, unbeknownst to me, I guess for about 5 or 6 years, the National Coalition Against Domestic Violence was using the I Love to Write Day program as a way to help the women and children that deal with the trauma. And a few years later, they invited me to their conference in Washington, D.C., and I held a special workshop for some of the kids and everything. And that was really very touching because it was an example of an organization that had taken the basic I Love to Write Day idea and just ran with it and did stuff on their own. Students at Glasgow High School during the first year, I believe there were 1,400 students. They all wrote positive messages to each other or to famous people, and they hung them down the hallways and everything. And for I Love to Write Day, that was an exciting thing that was happening there. The International Community School in Georgia partnered with Sleep Pea Angel Literacy Foundation and created a series of poetry books that had poems from the fifth and sixth grade students. And it's really interesting because even if it's, I'm going to show you a visual, but obviously it's just a first and second grade students who are just learning to write, sometimes they'll just write a couple of lines and then they'll illustrate it as well. So one student wrote, "My biggest dream is doing math. My biggest dream is to be the smartest girl." And another student wrote, "My biggest dream is helping animals because I love animals. I want to be an animal rescuer." So each year I get cards, letters. I never know what's going to come in the mail. So it's always exciting to see what's happening all around the country and now even all around the world.
John, what are you going to write on I Love to Write Day this year?
Well, I'm actually going to be at the Duck Creek Library in Smyrna, Delaware. They're holding a special I Love to Write Day event. They have 15 local authors with tables showing their books. We're having a couple of writing contests. People of all ages can come in and write just a short essay why they love to write. I'll even be holding a free 90-minute workshop on how to make money as a freelance writer. So I'll be writing along with everyone there. And again, my email box will be bombarded with people who want to sign up at the last minute and be sharing what they did on I Love to Write Day. So there's never a dull moment.
Understanding, right, that success for this day isn't really evaluated by any kind of concrete metrics, right? Like you're not writing grants saying we're going to reach this many people. But as the founder and as someone that has seen this program year over year, how do you measure or evaluate the success or the reach of this day each year? And which ones matter most to you as the founder?
To me, it's always the variety. Again, I never know how many bookstores, libraries, writing groups, community centers. I even have churches involved, and you name it. Plus, there's the individual people who learn about it through the local media or website or press release. And I was a little late coming to the hashtag table. I didn't quite understand the value of hashtags. So once we finally got hashtag I Love to Write Day out there, see we're trending on I Love to Write Day, just seeing what's happening. And again, to me, it's just a variety. There's no real metric as to, hey, this was success because we had X number of schools, but always inviting new schools and teachers rotate out and everything. And as I said, I get cards from writing groups that have been celebrating faithfully for 20 years. So
You've been doing this for the better part of a number of years. How do you keep the momentum going? What kinds of partnerships or outreach strategies have you found the most valuable as you seek just to keep this day top of mind with those that participate?
well, sometimes it starts probably in late August, early September. I just start doing a bunch of online articles, sending out press releases, networking with schools that have been involved previous years. And there's always somebody who knows somebody that can say, "Hey, let's invite this group or let's tell this school about it." And so doing that, reaching out to the media. I mean, reporters are always changing jobs and everything. There's always someone else in charge of a news organization. So whereas one newspaper might ignore me for 5 years, all of a sudden I'm now on the front page, and that's great. So it's just, again, it's to me, it's like we'll wait and see what happens this year, and I know it'll be great because it'll be fun.
As you kind of alluded to earlier, in the age of social media, I'm sure I Love to Write Day has been able to reach more and more people. Talk to us maybe about the most surprising thing that has helped or hindered the mission of your day and encouraged more people to participate.
Well, more people are writing, and I mean, it might, when you talk about, hey guys, you need to write, people are like, oh, no, I don't love to write. But then they'll go and they'll write blogs and newsletters and online articles. So more people are writing. Wish they paid a little more attention to the spelling and grammar, but more people are writing, and that's a good thing. And that as new venues open up online where people can publish their works, it's just writing and writing and writing. It's fun.
For someone who maybe hasn't written in years or maybe feels they're experiencing writer's block, what's one simple exercise you'd suggest to get started, either right before or on November 15th?
Well, take a blank piece of paper. Don't be afraid, or sit at the keyboard, whatever your favorite way to write is, and make a list of 5 things that are important to you. And of those 5 things, pick your top 2 favorite, and just write a short paragraph, a short essay as to why are you excited about this topic, or why are you passionate about that cause. And next thing you know, you've written something that you're proud of, and it's really great.
What are some common writing fears that you encounter when you talk with students or adults, and how do you counsel them through the fears that they've identified?
Well, again, I've been on the road for 25 years now, different organizations and venues, and it doesn't matter if it's a small group, a large group, a big school, a small school. One common denominator is the fear factor. Okay, people are afraid. They're afraid to start. They're afraid to fail. So if you can overcome that obstacle, gain the confidence to try your writing, because yes, it's going to be a little rough at first, but you know what? You'll breathe that sigh of relief when you're done that first paragraph or first page. So getting over the fear factor and having confidence are the two main things.
John, you've authored and or ghostwritten hundreds of pieces. What are three habits that you believe every writer, novice or experienced, should cultivate in their writing craft?
Well, first and most important is don't say you have to find time to write. You have to make the time to write. If anything in life is important to you, especially writing, you'll make the time. And you don't have to say, well, from 5 to 6 at night, I'm going to sit at the keyboard. If it might only be a few minutes here and there, but make the time to write, have the confidence in what you're writing, and above all, have fun.
Talk to us about how you balance the craft of writing and the joy of writing, right? To your point, you have to make time to write, not just write on a whim. So how do you balance kind of that back and forth, especially when writing becomes part of a business, or in this case, part of a larger outreach of a program?
Well, again, in my early years, yes, writing for money was paramount because you got to pay the bills and everything. But now as I'm thinking, it's so much easier to get published. And my 40th book just came out, and I wrote it with two of my grandsons who were 14 and 11. It's called A Cat's Guide to Surviving the Holidays. It's a laugh out loud book. It's written with their cat, Mr. Dill Pickles. So that's a labor of love, and that project I can do even though I'm also working on a ghostwriting project at the time. And again, to me, it doesn't matter if I'm writing a book, an article, ad copy on the back of a cereal box or whatever. I make the time and I have fun with it, and I just keep looking forward to the next project.
What's next for I Love to Write Day? Do you have any new initiatives, expansion plans, new resources, or outreach that you're particularly excited about?
Well, we did to celebrate the 20th anniversary. I published the I Love to Write Day Creative Writing Journal on Amazon, still available. It contains 30 creative challenges and tips from 87 experts from all around the world on how to be more creative. So for the 25th anniversary, which is only a couple of years away, we'll be updating that and publishing a whole new version. As I mentioned earlier, the United Kingdom, Australia, Spain, and a few other foreign countries have asked me to make this an international event and not just a USA one. So we're brainstorming ways to on the 25th anniversary that we can go international. And we'll see what happens and going from there. Again, we want to make writing fun, get everybody involved. It's a good day to spend a few minutes or spend a long time. And again, if you're in the area, stop at the Duck Creek Library in Smyrna, Delaware. We'll be there from 9 to 1:30.
If you could make one wish come true for the future of writing in Delaware or the world, in schools, communities, and individuals, what would John's wish be for the future of writing?
John's wish would be don't stress over your writing. I don't care if it's a homework assignment or an article for a newspaper or you finally got a book deal and now you're panicking. Don't stress over it because, if you're passionate about what you want to do, make the time, make it fun, and it'll flow.
John, anything else you'd like to share with the listeners today?
Visit the website, ilovetowriteday.com. You can send a message to me that way. And if anyone's interested I teach a variety of workshops. I'll be happy to send all the handouts for my workshops and answer any questions that people have about getting published or just writing in general.
John, thank you so much for joining me today. And as he mentioned, if you'd like to learn more about I Love to Write Day coming up on Saturday, November 15th, visit www.ilovetowriteday.com. Delaware State of the Arts is a weekly podcast that presents interviews with arts organizations and leaders who contribute to the cultural vibrancy of communities throughout Delaware. Delaware State of the Arts is provided as a service of the Delaware Division of the Arts in partnership with News Radio 1450 WILM and 1410 WDOV. The Delaware Division of the Arts, a branch of the Delaware Department of State, is committed to supporting the arts and cultivating creativity to enhance the quality of life in Delaware. Together with its advisory body, the Delaware State Arts Council, the division administers grants and programs that support arts programming, educate the public, increase awareness of the arts, and integrate the arts into all facets of Delaware life. To find out more about the division, visit arts.delaware.gov.